What does a Lightworker's physical appearance look like? Can you spot it in others? And do you fit these physical traits? Lightworkers are incredibly unique individuals, but their physical attributes can sometimes leave telltale signs or even give us insight into their divine mission. Before I go into this list of common physical appearance overlaps, I need to stress this. In fact, I want a huge disclaimer here. Are you ready? Lightworkers are incredibly unique, and we don't know everything there is to know about them. Be wary of anyone who speaks in certainties. While there are physical similarities between Lightworkers and certain types, these are general guidelines and not hard set rules. I've spoken to a Lightworker who was distraught and lost for a long time because they had dark hair and someone convinced them that meant they couldn't possibly be a Lightworker. That's not how this works. These are guidelines to help you, not hard set rules. What do Lightworkers look like? On the astral plane, Lightworkers are beings of pure energy and can blind those who are not used to talking with them. Here on the physical dimension, they look entirely normal, but there are some physical appearance patterns that might help you spot one, in the mirror or in others around you. Lightworker eyes. Probably the first thing we need to talk about is the eyes. It's the first thing people tend to notice when they lock eyes with a true Lightworker. They have light in their eyes. This doesn't mean their eye color has to be light, but there's an intensity there that normal people just don't have. It can be a light that they're emanating, but it's also the light of clarity and wisdom behind them. Their gaze has an intense level of care and love that you just don't see in the average person. It draws people in, invites them to open up and make them feel safe. There's a softness there, mostly. With some Lightworker types, gatekeepers, and transmuters, for example, these eyes might change in a blink when they sense a threat or a task comes to hand. Don't be misled by the idea that you have to have light-colored eyes to be a Lightworker. This just isn't true. They're often described as an old soul because of their eyes, which is ironic because of the next physical trait. Younger than they look. Despite the immense amount of stress most Lightworkers put themselves under for others, the light they carry within themselves often keep them looking young. You often hear that Lightworkers were called babyface at one point. This is because Lightworkers have a deeper well from which to draw, and this allows them to stay grounded in reality even when presented with something difficult or harsh. They have important work to do and need to be there for those around them. As such, they stay younger for much longer than their age would indicate. Lightworker hair. Similar to their eyes, Lightworkers tend to have a lightness there. Sometimes this manifests as light-colored hair or even dark hair that seems to catch the light in unexpected ways. This lightness tends to manifest in hair that glows and seems to fight against a hairbrush and any kind of control. This lack of control tends to suit them, however. Somehow it just tends to work out if left mostly alone. There's an energy to Lightworker hair that constantly flows and flies around as if wind constantly ruffles through it. How they hold themselves. Lightworkers hold themselves with purpose and light. They tend to be as light on their feet as they are in their heart. No matter how much stress and strain they come under, they always have a divine poise. The weight of the world on their shoulders is nothing new to a Lightworker. They've been through it before and will do so again. They carry themselves with lightness because of this. They don't need to exert themselves beyond the bare minimums required by life, and as such, they seem to float where others must stride or hurry. Soft features. This is one of those areas where Lightworkers and empaths vary and one I see often misunderstood. In general, we talk about Lightworkers having soft and open features, symmetrical faces without pointed jawlines or noses. But, again, I think our understanding has come a long way since then. Some Lightworkers, like Guardians for example, might have different features than you might expect from healers or light carriers. But the universal truth is these features will always look soft. Even with a harsher appearance, there'll be something safe looking about them. The Lightworker glow. You've probably heard someone describe a pregnant woman as glowing, or when someone looks exhausted or stressed, they say they don't have the glow. when what they really mean is they look dull in comparison. Even when a Lightworker is taking on a lot and is dealing with the stress and pressures of their work, there's still that glow that comes from being a spiritually awakened being. This glow tends to become more and more noticeable the further down the divine path they travel. Every type of Lightworker has this. Some are just more noticeable than others because they've been following their path longer. It's hard to describe, but you'll recognize it when you see someone who has this light or light-like quality. Lightworker Energy Signature. Have you ever had that experience where you meet someone new and just feel completely comfortable with them? When a complete stranger can feel like an old friend. Lightworkers have this effect on people physically around them. There's just something nobody can quite put their finger on. That lightness in their soul, the lightness of their heart. That instant connection makes you just want to tell them about your life story. This is part of why others are drawn to Lightworkers so easily and so often, even when they don't fully understand why. Wise voice. Similar to the eyes, Lightworkers are often called old souls because their voice carries the gravitas and wisdom of someone wise beyond their years. The lightness of their voice is soothing and yet, at the same time, challenging. It makes others feel accepted, but also knows when to ruffle feathers. It inspires trust, bravery, and action in others. This lightness isn't just in the words they use either. It's there in the way they sound physically. A lightness in their tone that's pleasant for all who hear them, but even when they speak quietly, people are going to take notice. Go beyond the physical. The more noticeable Lightworker signs are spiritual ones. If you're trying to spot these traits in yourself or in others, this is going to be more reliable than physical traits themselves.